Today, we are diving into a dramatic shift in South African politics that's sending ripples throughout the country. Mpumelelo Cindi, the national coordinator of the Umkhonto Sizwe MK veterans, has stepped down, and the reason behind his resignation is not just personal but political. He's calling out the leadership style of former President Jacob Zuma, accusing him of running the MK movement like a dictator. This shocking move brings to light the growing divisions within the MK, an organization that once symbolized the collective struggle for freedom and equality in South Africa. What does Cindi's resignation mean for the future of MK and South African politics? Let's break it down and explore the layers of this political drama. To understand the significance of Cindi's resignation, it's important to first know the historical background of the MK and its role in South Africa's political landscape. MK was originally the armed wing of the African National Congress, ANC, during the fight against apartheid. The movement was formed in 1961 as the military force tasked with challenging the brutal regime that denied the majority of South Africans their basic rights. Over the years, MK fighters and veterans were celebrated as freedom fighters, and the organization became a cornerstone of the post-apartheid South African identity. After the fall of apartheid, the MK transitioned from a militant organization to a veterans association, focused on representing the interests of those who had fought in the struggle. The MK veterans aimed to ensure that those who had sacrificed so much for the country would be honored, supported, and given a voice in the new democratic South Africa. However, over time, the MK movement began to face internal divisions, many of which were fueled by political struggles and leadership disputes. Now, fast forward to the present day, and the MK is grappling with factionalism, with the influence of former President Jacob Zuma looming large over the organization. Zuma, who led the country for 9 years, has had a controversial tenure marked by corruption scandals, economic challenges, and a polarizing leadership style. His role within the MK has not been free from controversy, with many critics accusing him of using the veterans movement as a tool to further his own political ambitions. Cindi's resignation has brought this issue into sharp focus. According to him, Zuma has turned the MK into a private army, operating with a dictatorial approach that stifles dissent and disregards democratic principles. In his resignation statement, Cindi expressed his disillusionment with how Zuma's leadership has undermined the original ideals of the MK. He accused Zuma of sidelining differing opinions, which has resulted in a fragmented organization with no clear direction. For Cindi, stepping down was a way of reclaiming the integrity of the MK and standing up against what he perceives as a misuse of the organization's legacy. This resignation is far from an isolated incident. It's part of a broader pattern of discontent within the MK ranks. Over the years, Zuma's involvement in MK has been seen as a source of division rather than unity. Critics argue that Zuma has sought to control the movement to maintain his influence over South Africa's political scene. For many veterans who fought against apartheid, this is a betrayal of the principles for which they fought. They see the MK being manipulated for personal gain, rather than being the voice of the collective struggle. It's important to consider the implications of Cindi's resignation. His departure raises significant questions about the future of the MK movement. Will this spark a wave of resignations and discontent within the organization? Will it encourage other members to speak out against Zuma's leadership? Political analysts are already speculating that this could mark the beginning of a larger shift within MK. As one analyst, Sibusiso Nobini, pointed out, Cindi's resignation exposes deep-rooted dissatisfaction within the MK and raises serious concerns about its direction. This could potentially lead to a wider fragmentation of the organization, making it even more difficult for MK to serve as a unified force for veterans. At the same time, Zuma's camp has yet to respond publicly to Cindi's resignation. If history is any indication, Zuma is likely to defend his leadership and possibly dismiss Cindi's concerns as the complaints of a disgruntled individual. After all, Zuma has long been known for his defiance against criticism, especially when it comes from within his own ranks. He has faced similar calls for resignation from various political figures in the past but has remained steadfast in his position. Whether or not Zuma acknowledges Cindi's resignation could be a key factor in determining the future of the MK veterans. This situation isn't just about one individual stepping down, it's a reflection of the broader tensions within South African politics. The country's liberation movements, particularly the ANC and MK, have struggled to define their role in post-apartheid society. Once champions of freedom and justice, these movements have been criticized for their failure to address the economic and social challenges facing South Africans today. Many of the promises made during the transition to democracy have yet to be fulfilled, leading to disillusionment among the very people who fought for liberation. Cindi's resignation adds another layer to this disillusionment. He has voiced his commitment to the original ideals of MK, such as unity, democracy, and collective action. However, his decision to leave the organization suggests that these principles are no longer being honored within the current leadership structure. For Cindi and others who share his concerns, the MK veterans need to return to their roots as a unifying force for veterans, rather than becoming embroiled in power struggles and personal ambitions. Looking ahead, the future of the MK movement and South African politics at large remains uncertain. Cindi's resignation might be a sign that the once solid alliances within the liberation movement are beginning to crumble. The MK, like many other political organizations in South Africa, is at a crossroads. Will it be able to regroup and redefine its purpose, or will it continue to be consumed by internal divisions? Can it still serve as a voice for veterans, or has it become another political tool in the hands of a few powerful figures? The future of the MK movement may hinge on whether or not it can adapt to the changing political climate in South Africa. As the country prepares for the 2024 elections, there will be greater scrutiny on the role of liberation movements and their influence on the political landscape. For Cindi, his resignation may be a call for change, signaling that the MK must evolve if it's to have any relevance in the country's future. It remains to be seen whether the MK will be able to shed the weight of factionalism and personal agendas to emerge as a force for real change. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this issue. Do you think the MK movement can overcome its internal divisions? How do you feel about Zuma's role in the organization? Will Cindi's resignation lead to more leaders stepping down, or will Zuma's influence continue to dominate? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth analysis of South Africa's political landscape.